The Model Millionaire, Oscar Wilde.
Hughie Erskine was a very good-looking young man. He had brown curly hair, a handsome face, and kind grey eyes. Everyone liked him, both men and women. But Hughie had one big problem. He had no money. He had tried many jobs. He worked on the stock exchange, but that did not work. He sold tea for a while, but he got bored. He tried selling wine, but that did not work either. In the end, Hughie did nothing. He lived on £200 a year from his aunt. It was not much, but it was enough to get by. Hughie was also in love. The girl he loved was named Laura Merton. She was the daughter of a retired army colonel. Laura loved Hughie too. They were the most attractive couple in London. But there was a problem. Laura's father would not allow them to get married. "Come back when you have £10,000, the colonel always said. Then we can talk about it. Hughie always felt sad after those conversations. He went to visit Laura to feel better. One morning, Hughie went to visit his friend, Alan Trevor. Alan was a painter, and a very good one. His paintings were popular and sold for a lot of money. Alan liked Hughie very much. He thought Hughie was charming and fun. He always let Hughie come to his studio. When Hughie arrived, Alan was busy painting. The painting showed a life-size picture of a poor old beggar man. The beggar was standing on a small platform in the corner of the studio. The old man looked very sad. His clothes were old and full of holes. His boots were broken. He leaned on a rough stick with one hand. With the other hand, he held out his worn hat, as if asking for money. "What an amazing model," said Hughie quietly. "Amazing. He is incredible," said Alan. "A beggar like him is very rare. Rembrandt himself would have loved to paint him." "Poor old man," said Hughie. "He looks so miserable. But I suppose his face is useful to you as a painter?" "Of course," said Alan. "A beggar should look sad. That is the whole point." "How much does a model get paid?" asked Hughie. "A shilling an hour," said Alan. "And how much do you get for the painting?" 2,000 guineas, said Alan. Hughie laughed. "Then the model should get more money. He works just as hard as you do." "Nonsense," said Alan. "Now stop talking. I need to concentrate. Sit down and be quiet." After a while, a servant came in and called Alan out of the room. "I'll be back in a moment," Alan said to Hughie. Hughie was now alone with the old beggar. The old man sat down on a bench to rest. He looked so tired and sad that Hughie felt very sorry for him. Hughie checked his pockets. He found one gold coin, a sovereign, and a few small coins. It was almost all the money he had. "Poor old man," Hughie thought. "He needs this more than I do." He walked across the studio and put the sovereign into the old man's hand. The old beggar looked surprised. A small smile appeared on his face. "Thank you, sir," he said quietly. "Thank you very much." When Alan came back, Hughie said goodbye and left. He felt a little embarrassed about what he had done. He spent the rest of the day with Laura. She was kind, but she laughed at him for giving away his money. Hughie had to walk home because he could not afford a taxi. That evening, Hughie went to his club. He found Alan sitting alone, drinking a glass of wine. "Did you finish the painting?" asked Hughie. "Yes, finished and framed," said Alan. "And by the way, that old model really liked you. I had to tell him everything about you. Your name, where you live, how much money you have, everything." "Oh dear," said Hughie. "I hope he is all right. I feel sorry for him. I have some old clothes at home. Do you think he would want them?" Alan smiled. "His clothes are fine, believe me." "Alan," said Hughie seriously, "you painters don't care about people's feelings." "By the way," said Alan, "how is Laura?" "You didn't talk to the beggar about Laura, did you?" asked Hughie. "Yes, I told him everything," said Alan. About Laura, her father, and the £10,000. Hughie went red with anger. You told a stranger all my private business? Alan laughed. Hughie, that old beggar is one of the richest men in Europe. He could buy all of London if he wanted to. He has houses in every capital city. He eats from gold plates. His name is Baron Hausberg. Hughie stared. What? That was Baron Hausberg. But I gave him a sovereign. Alan burst out laughing. You gave a millionaire £1. Yes, you did. Hughie fell into a chair. He felt completely foolish. Why didn't you tell me? Said Hughie unhappily. I didn't know you were going to give him money, said Alan, and I wasn't sure if the Baron wanted people to know who he was. He was not exactly dressed for a party. He must think I'm an idiot, said Hughie. Not at all, said Alan. After you left, he was in a wonderful mood. He kept laughing and rubbing his hands together. I think he found the whole thing very amusing. I feel like the unluckiest person in London, said Hughie. Please don't tell anyone about this. I would be too embarrassed. Don't worry, said Alan. It shows that you have a kind heart. Now stay and have another drink. But Hughie did not want to stay. He walked home alone, feeling miserable. Alan stayed at the club, still laughing. The next morning, Hughie was having breakfast when a servant brought him a card. It said, Monsieur Gustave Naudin, on behalf of Baron Hausberg. He has come for an apology. Hughie thought nervously. He told the servant to bring the visitor in. An old gentleman with gold glasses and grey hair walked into the room. He spoke with a slight French accent. Am I speaking with Mr. Erskine? He asked. Yes, said Hughie. I have come from Baron Hausberg, the man said. Please, before you speak, the Baron has asked me to give you this letter. He handed Hughie a sealed envelope. Hughie looked at the envelope. On the outside, someone had written, A wedding present to Hugh Erskine and Laura Merton from an old beggar. Hughie opened it slowly. Inside was a cheque for £10,000. Hughie could not speak. He read the words again. £10,000. The exact amount the Colonel required. The exact amount that stood between him and Laura. His hands were shaking. He could not believe what he was holding. Hughie and Laura were married soon after. It was a beautiful wedding. Alan Trevor was the best man. Baron Hausberg himself came to the wedding. He gave a speech at the wedding breakfast. Everyone was happy. At the end of the day, Alan raised his glass and smiled. A millionaire who acts as a model is rare enough, he said. But a millionaire who is also a model person, that is rarer still. Everyone laughed, and Hughie laughed the loudest of all.